Well, hello, everybody. Let's talk all things Love is Blind, Season 9, Edmond and KB. What viewers think, what really happened, and let's discuss what you think about this couple. Are y'all ready to get into it? Let's do it.
A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers and my nieces and nephews, and all of y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for Auntie Kalybriah's sweet old. It's time for Auntie Kalybriah. Oh, yeah. It's time for Auntie Kalybriah.
Y'all, let's get into this couple, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. As you all know, we are in the season of Love is Blind. They have released the first six episodes, and we will be discussing them couple by couple and what's going on downtown to social media concerning them. The first couple that I wanted to talk about is KB and hello there, Phoenix Rising, KB and Edmond. Y'all, this is a hot. The premiere of Love is Blind season 9 premiered on October of 2025, and this is centering on couples who are in Denver, Colorado. Now, the format is the same. The participants date in a pod, while and in these pods they emotionally connect without seeing each other. Some get engaged, then travel together. In some cases, this year is going to be in Mexico before returning home to plan weddings and decide whether or not they're going to say that I do. Among the single among the engaged couples is Kalybriah and Edmond, Ali and Anton, Annie and Nick, Jordan and Megan, Madison and Joe, and Casey and Patrick. Now, Casey and Patrick is the story all by itself, and we will be discussing that tomorrow. Like that was a hot mess express for all of you all who saw it. I think that this is the first time that I have seen this happen on the show, but okay, all right. So anyway, let's continue. So KB and or Kalybriah, I think her name is Brian, better known as KB, and Edmond, right? They made a connection like pretty fast. KB and Edmond hit things off in the pods, and they developed like this emotional intimacy over personal stories and shared vulnerabilities. Now, Kalybriah talked about, kind of being out there, being, quick to be in relationships and have intimacy with men, while Edmond talked about being in foster care, being reunited with his mother and stuff like that, and just kind of managing through these things. They kind of got engaged pretty early in the process. And, we saw some things, or at least I saw some things about Edmond that I did not particularly care for. When these people are in the pause and they are emotionally connecting with one another, right? They are talking about they are talking about, their life story and stuff like that, trying to make a connection with one another, which makes Love is Blind. Like, is love really blind? I think that the initial spark is blind, but I think that love is a process and it's something that grows over time. I don't know if I believe in the premise of the show, but it is absolutely entertaining. Okay. And so this has just been a mess. Right here, there's some things that have gone on in a relationship, and we're going to talk about it. When they revealed themselves to each other, as you all can see, he has this bright color shirt on, these pants. He looks like, I- oh my God, what was the name of the guy's name? I can't even think of what his name was. But he was always riding around on a bicycle. I can't not think of what his name was, but that's what he reminded me of. And he is too emotional. When they were in the pause together with one another, and she began to share, her heart and her feelings, and he was sharing about, she said that, she wanted to get to know him, she wanted to pursue the relationship with him, and he was crying and she was like, go ahead and cry, my little sweet emotional baby. I didn't think that the emotion was cute, but y'all let me know. That would have been a red flag for me, with him just sitting there crying like that. I would have taken him off of my top one. He would have been down in the bottom, right? Or I would have left without being on the show. I do believe, after watching this for multiple seasons, right? And which is why I've got to do the 50 and over show for y'all. I really do believe that there are just certain things that are signs that let me know, whether or not someone is compatible with me. And I absolutely cannot stand someone who is up 1 minute and the next minute in the conversation, I'm wiping tears. Like, I don't have time for that kind of stuff. I know that we had a couple before where a gentleman was very emotional and stuff like that. Like, it just never works, in my opinion. It wouldn't work for me. But it seems to be something that she overlooked, and I don't know if it's because of the things that she shared, that she's been through in the past with other people. Absolutely, Elizabeth. Elizabeth said red flag. Absolutely. So anyway, once they, they KB and Edmond ended up, being engaged. Wait a minute. I have to tell y'all, there was a scene, honey, where he was down there kissing the floor. He was on a nasty carpet that all these men are walking on. I don't know how long these pods are vacant, but he was on the floor kissing it. And I just was like, he is just so nasty and weird. Like, it's just one of those words that just accompanies him. It's just weird. I think he's just completely weird. Anyway, I digress. So KB in once they announced the couples, right? They arrived in Mexico, and everything started showing. So some of the most talked about things that Ed with this particular couple involve moments of intimacy, expectation, boundaries, and emotional reactions. KB had brought up this hypothetical subject, right? He says, if a big buff guy grabs me in the club, how would you respond? And Edmond's initial reaction is to de-escalate. He didn't want to get aggressive with the guy. And this moment could possibly have planted a seed of doubt in KB, wondering whether or not Edmond would be protective. Now, he's skinny as a rail. When he was, giving her the ring and everything, she was telling him how nice looking he was and how beautiful he was. And child, he just had them pants hoisted up. He was running back and forth with his knees up in the air. And she was like, look at them knees. What you doing? I just was like, no, I just ain't got this to do. So anyway, KB, had clearly stated that she wanted to wait until marriage before having sex or anything like that. And she disclosed this during the pause stage. When they was in the pause stage, she had brought this up. So at the group party, Edmond learns that most of the other couples was already being intimate, and he expressed frustration with KB that he was the only one who wasn't having sex. And so at this point, y'all, he gets extremely emotional about the situation, right? And I mean, when I say extremely, so he plays this like really nice guy, right? But he's got some serious mental stuff that's going on with him. Thank you so much, J Sander 123 for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Welcome, love y'all. Please, if y'all have not already done so, please welcome J Sander 123 to the membership. Welcome. So it was cracks in the beginning of the relationship. She thought that it was cute because she thought that he was just being emotional, but as someone already said in the comment section, it was a red flag. um the confrontation escalated between the two of them. Edmond brings up KB's past one night stand as a justification on why she should be sleeping with him. My intention was to come back here and bring up some pictures for y'all so y'all can see, the progress, right? So he was passing off like, he's this gentle, tender guy, right? And that, he really cares about her. He had talked about giving her a foot rub, and he was like, I can give you another one. And she was like, okay. So he gives her, wait a minute, hold on, let me get my pictures together. So he's laying in the bed and he appears to be, all lovey dovey and all of that kind of stuff, right? Like, everything we got it going on. And he's rubbing her feet and stuff. And, she brings up the fact that's when they start talking about, other couples had been having intimacy and they were the only couples that wasn't. And instantly you can see that his face changed. And I mean instantly. His face changed on her. And he was like, what? I'm trying to hold back. I'm trying to, do whoop de whoop de boop and the boop boop boop. And I ain't getting none. So fans are absolutely outraged at the fact that he wanted her. She said that she had already told him that she wasn't going to be with him. Hold on, y'all. Let me see how to turn these comments off this screen. Look at his face. Like he flipped on her like I don't know what. Thank you, boo. Yes, G Debo 3. Like a light switched. It like something went off in his head. So it just, next thing you know, like she's like, I'm not gonna have sex with you. I already told you in the past that this is something that I'm not gonna do with you. And you're gonna have to get over it. You're gonna have to get past this. I'm not doing it. And so, he is making it appear that he is a victim of something and that she owes herself. She owes herself to him. Like this is mandatory that she sleeps with him. And I was completely turned off at the way that he reacted with her. But again, this is the crying that had been happening downtown to the pods. And I really believe that the crying is a form of manipulation. And I also believe that, he feels like he is entitled to her. Is a man or a woman, could be a woman, entitled to something that you are not willing to give right now? Absolutely not, in my opinion. You wait. If this is not something that I want to do with you, this is absolutely something I don't want to do to you. Next thing you know, he is bawling, crying. It got so bad that she ended up turning her back to him and saying they weren't going to talk about it and she was going to sleep. Because this man started off with the foot rub and the smile and all of that. And as soon as he found out that he wasn't getting something that he thought that he had a right to, he flipped on her. She was sitting up here, and trying to have a conversation with him to let him know, okay, This is not what I'm going to do. Are you going to respect that? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely, Miss Jane. So I went to go and find out some other things about it. So now later on, KB reflects that the way that Edmond handled the argument for her was a major flag. I don't know why the crying in the pod was not, but this is what she says. She says that she's questioning whether or not she can trust him to handle her vulnerabilities without weaponizing them in conflict. And despite the blow up, she indicates she's trying to understand his side, though still strongly holding on to her boundaries. And she should. The viewers are saying that that emotional scene with Edmund, where he cries and confronts KB over their lack of intimacy, quickly became a focal point of conversation. Some viewers really did call it a red flag about emotional manipulation, and I totally agree. People are also on social media are praising KB for sticking to her boundaries and criticizing Edmund for arguing that she owed intimacy. The idea of "you don't deserve my body" has been widely quoted in commentary, and she doesn't. She told him, "You don't deserve my body," and okay. Many fans are also discussing whether Edmund's emotional breakdown was genuine vulnerability or a manipulative tactic, and I think it was the latter. Some people are interpreting his tears as gaslighting, and I believe that as well. So there is a reoccurring question: is whether KB's statement in the pause are fully understood by Edmund. Did he understand that she wanted to hold off until marriage to be intimate with him, or whether he changed his stance once he was confronted with the reality of how beautiful she was, how shapely she was, because she was just knockout gorgeous. And then I don't understand why his lips are always chapped. Y'all let me know downtown in the comments why his lips chapped like that. See, you can't trust nobody, someone who don't have some type of lip balm, some type of lip moisturizer, on their lips. Like his lips, and he's always constantly licking them. So that's a habit that if I looked at him across the room and I just saw him like licking his lips like that would be a turn off to me. Now here we see him with tears just streaming down his face while she is letting him know in no uncertain terms, you're just not gonna get it, boo. You're not gonna get it. First of all, let's go ahead on and get some Vaseline, some Johnson baby oil. Let's get some chapstick. Let's get let's get something for your mouth. Let's just go ahead on and get something for your mouth. So I want to read a couple of things to y'all out of some of the things in People magazine. It says, "Love is blind. Kalybriah breaks down fight with her fiance about waiting until marriage. You can't manipulate me." And this is an exclusive interview that she did with them, and she says it's almost like you saying you deserve my body, and that's not the case. Okay, so right now they're saying, right, things got rocky with the two of them after the couple started talking about who already had sex at the group pool party. Edmund revealed to the other men that his fiance wanted to wait until marriage, but he didn't feel the same and wanted to be intimate before their wedding. Um, KB he addressed this with KB and began sobbing over the fact that she had sex with other men but wanted to wait until marriage with him, like he is the prize. As expected, this led to tensions between the pair and caused KB to walk out the room. Okay, she had flipped over at first. She said it's important to stand my ground about that. She says this is a healing journey for me. She said, I had to go on this journey as to why, right? I was in previous relationships giving myself to men. And, if this is something that you are used to doing, and, you said, what, in my last relationship or my loving relationship, this is not something that I want to do. You have a right to your own body. Nobody has a right, excuse me, to your body and can make you do anything. Like, that's just crazy. She said, I went through a healing journey before coming to Love is Blind. I went in practicing abstinence for 8 months prior to the show. So she said, so it was just like in a whole different space that I might have been when I was a college girl and lived in Tallahassee. I was where the fun was. So I had a ball. But she said that she wanted to change that perspective. So she decided to set those boundaries, but was very clear with Edmond, okay, in the pause about her intentions. She said, I thought it would be blindsiding to not have told him that before, because that's what people do when they're engaged. She said, you share your information, you share your past history, your past sexual history, stuff like that. She said, so I'm just like, I want to let you know before you propose. She said, he act like he understood. He said he agreed. She said, well, at least I thought that he understood. So Kalybriah said once they got in Mexico, everything changed. She said, we're under the influence from the pool party, and you throw in my face, oh, you had a one night stand, something. She said, and this was something that she had told him in confidence, something that might not have even been aired before. He just threw it up in her face as her partner. She explained, she said, it's almost like you're saying you deserve my body, and that is not the case. She said, it gave me the ick. She said it gave me the ick, but I hate the fact that sometimes, she said, but I hate the fact sometimes that I'm so understanding, because I just tried to resonate with him. I'm just like, okay, I try not to argue. I'm like, let's get to the bottom line here. So she said that she tried to understand his point of view. She says that she also tried to get him to understand that he was not comparable to the men she had previously slept with. She said, I looked at the one night stand person as disposable. That was a person I didn't care about ever talking to again, which is why they were a one time thing. She said, but for him to compare someone that I'm trying to build a life with to someone that I literally was okay with never speaking to again, I think was absolutely crazy. She said it made her feel so unsettled. She said, because she was like, why are you the one crying right now? Like, what's going on? Did I offend you by not giving you my body? She said, come on now. So it was strange. It was weird. She said that she was observing everything and just trying to take it in and embrace it. But KB admitted that she was also dealing with her own emotions, which led her to storming out the room and a couple sleeping separately that night. And at that moment, she said, I no longer could take it, because I'm like, now you're crying. She said, I told this mofo my boundaries. He wasn't respecting my boundaries. And now he's in the room boo-hooing. And now you're crying. And your crying scared me because I don't know what you're doing. She says, I just jumped him a little bit. She says, so I'm like, okay, let's just call it a night. I slept on a balcony. She slept on the balcony. Because this is the man that she has to face. This is a man who was upset because she wasn't intimate with him. See, this show is called Love is Blind, not Sex is Blind. This man totally flipped on her like that. And then ends up like this. So KB ended up sleeping on the balcony. How unfair, how disastrous. She slept on the balcony. Absolutely. She slept on the balcony. She said he slept in the room. She said she just did not feel like it had caused us to have to sleep in separate rooms or housing situations. She said, but I definitely felt like it took for me to say, hey, don't come touching me. I'm going to sleep out here. You sleep over there. She said, I needed some fresh air because that was a lot to take in. And I was absolutely offended. She said that she was also upset because she felt like the situation had been flipped on her and she had to console this mofo despite her being the one who was hurt and offended. She said that just doesn't make sense. That's unfair. And then to bring it up, I'm the nice guy. Y'all remember in this episode, he said he was a nice guy. She said, I don't care how much manipulation he tries, that will never make sense to her or me. She said, I didn't bring it up once in the pod. I brought it up multiple times, at least 2 to 3 times in the pod. And this mofo, I want to call him something else. Okay. The word is just like wanting to come off my tongue. And she said, he act like he understood. She said, I brought this up several times to him. And so she said that she's like, just like, okay, so like, are you okay with that? And he said he was. She said, I'm wondering whether or not it was the liquor. She said, I think the liquor just influenced that and encouraged that behavior. And he was a lot. He was a lot. She said this was a major red flag for her. Major. And I can understand. And in an article in BuzzFeed, it says Love is Blind viewers are horrified after KB fiance repeatedly tried pressuring her into having intimacy, and now she has spoken out. The quote of the day is using your trauma to manipulate your fiance to do the do with you is crazy. And it is. The thing about it is your relationship is your relationship. I knew she shouldn't have liked him from the giddy up. I don't know why. He had too much family trauma, too much family drama going on. She had some issues too, but her issues wasn't deep enough to swim in like his was. If this girl has made a decision that she doesn't want to be with him, she ain't got to be with him. I don't know whether or not this couple is still together. I will not be doing any spoilers on it, and please don't do any in the chat. But this right here was ridiculous. She said these when she was doing a one night thing, she was just doing a one night thing. The thing that really bothered me is when he said that he was a good guy. He said, I'm giving you my all. Like she isn't. He said, I'm the only dude on the trip that ain't get to have sex, and I'm giving you my all. You let dudes that ain't even care about you have sex with you. Oh my fucking goodness, he said before adding, really though, like what the fuck? And then he has a tantrum and says that I am always the effing nice guy. That's what F's me up. I'm too effing nice. I'm too effing nice. That's what F me up because I'm a nice guy. While he in her face like this. And she stepped on the balcony. Fans are livid, just like y'all are in the comment section. She tried to resolve the issue with him, but she had to end up putting her foot down. Somebody tweeted Edmond's behavior in hashtag Love is Blind season 9 episode 6 was so low key scary. Using your trauma to manipulate your fiance to do the do with you is crazy work. Someone else also tweeted Edmond talking about I'm always the nice guy, I'm too nice, while trying to emotionally manipulate KB into wanting to hook up is next to a heap of red flag emojis. Someone else wrote Edmond crying because he was the only man from the group not having sex and that he deserves it because he's too nice, sorry, but laughing my A off. What the F is wrong with men? Someone else says, so Edmund thinks he deserves to have X with KB because one, he is too nice, and two, the other couples had it, and three, KB had one night stand before. This is disgusting. The talk he had with the other men at the pool party was gross. Someone else called him out and said that they called Edmond out for not respecting KB's boundaries and displaying manipulative nice guy tears. And she is opened up about it. And again, she said it is important to stand my ground about that. I went in abstinence for 8 months prior to the show. So I was like, I'm in a whole different space than I might have been when I was a college girl who lived in Tallahassee. I was where the fun was. So I had a ball. She says she thought he understood, but now she realizes that he doesn't understand. And the thing about it, he's been a baby from day A. But anytime this man is sitting there kissing the floor, ladies and gentlemen, you have a right to say no. You have a right to your body and your faculties, and anything that you don't want to do, you don't have to do it. If you are in a relationship where somebody is forcing you or wanting to force you into doing something that you don't want to do, get out. It is not only a red flag, it is a whole tractor 18-wheeler tractor truck full of them. Get out of the relationship. If a man has to tell you or woman, I'm a nice guy, I was being a nice guy, I'm always too nice, it means that they're not nice. They're nice nasty. And you need to run as fast as possible. Anyway, y'all, I'll be back tomorrow with my Love is Blind season 9 recaps on some of these couples. I cannot wait to talk about the other couple. I can't think of their names right now because I'm so tired. But we will be out and we will be discussing it. And I can't wait to do that with you. Make sure if you are not already subscribed that you do subscribe. Okay, so you can hear this old lady talk about it. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome, Jay Sander 123 to the membership. We appreciate you being here, love. Oh, we're going to talk about sparkles. Because let me tell you something about sparkles, and then I'm going to get out of here for real. See, Miss Change, you got me going down, okay? Miss Sparkles said that she did not want to leave with her money, but that's exactly what Miss Sparkles did. And in my opinion, she got just the right man that appears to be one of them type of guys that will draw her bank account out on the strength that he has a sick child. He led with his sick child. She led with her money. And I can't wait to discuss it. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends to subscribe. We're going to get into it as we get into it. Thank you so much, Ray Della, for moderating the room and making sure that everybody got an opportunity to chat. I appreciate you. Love y'all. Bye.